See Me, See My Ability, the podcast of the ARC, Southern Maryland.
We become invisible. If for some reason society just stops seeing older people and they don't see people with disabilities the way they need to. So we do become invisible.
I'm Rita Rich. Sometimes we have experts join us in our podcasting class to get our clients who are all of legal age, that is above the age of 18, and their family members to consider issues that our experts have witnessed throughout their careers. So gather your best friends and those you trust with your money and with helping you make important decisions in your life, and meet one of those experts. Elena Salitto is an attorney who specializes in elder care and has represented the interests of those in the disabled community. Can you talk to me about why you do what you do in elder care and with disabled people?
Oh my, that's a big question. And once upon a time, a long, long time ago in a land far, far away, I was actually a trade regulation attorney. I did antitrust and consumer protection issues, took some time off. And then when I came back to law after a hiatus, I discovered that elder law was just a better fit for me. It's more people oriented, not as much money oriented. From my experience with elder law, I branched into issues revolving disabilities. Elder law has such a crossover with disabilities. And then that just kind of was a natural segue to people with developmental disabilities or any other kind of disability from whatever source, traumatic brain injuries, accidents, what have you.
When people get older, we become more disabled. It's just part of human nature.
And we become invisible. For some reason, society just stops seeing older people and they don't see people with disabilities the way they need to. So we do become invisible. And I think someone being an older person myself, I think we need somebody to stand up for ourselves, to stand up for us. And that's something I really am passionate about.
Yes, paperwork is involved, but that's what a good counselor or attorney is there for.
So we are looking at things like powers of attorney, if that's possible. Maryland just introduced or just established supported decision making. So that might be viable as well. So anything that gets out there to enable the person to be able to live as independently as possible. Trusts, able accounts. I know a lot of family members, especially people who don't have the education that they need, have this notion that, oh my God, such and so has a disability. I can't ever give them money. And I go, no, that's not true. And they will do things like, oh, well, I'm just going to give everything to my oldest child. And I know my oldest child will, of course, take care of their brother or sister. It's like, no, you don't want to do that.
We'll be posting a podcast about able accounts in coming weeks. In short, these are accounts that allow families to save money for a disabled person's future without fear that government benefits will be adversely affected. Not all states have able accounts. Maryland does.
So for both the individual and also the individual's family, you want to put the pieces in place so that the person does have access to money, does have financial security, and then also has the supports in place so that they can live independently and be their best selves like anybody else wants to be.
It's that paperwork that I think can be very intimidating, even to people who are brilliant, have their PhDs, have advanced degrees. When it comes to money and stuff, making sure that one sibling does not have to be the caretaker of the other sibling. I totally agree with that because we don't live with each other anymore. We live in different states.
Right. Yeah. And you have to, when you're creating the plan, you've got to accommodate for that, especially within the family. Geez, I just had one poor woman called me. She's out of her mind with anxiety and all of that. Mom died quite a while ago. Dad developed Alzheimer's. Dad also has been living, or actually there's a disabled adult son who has lived with mom and dad his entire life. No provisions were made at all. Now, all of a sudden, dad is gone. By the time that they realized, oh my God, we don't have anything in place to take care of the brother, dad was too far gone to create any kind of documents, and the brother's not able to do anything. So the woman's calling me. She said, I don't know what to do. He's living in the house. The house is underwater. There's absolutely no money to pay the bills. He doesn't even understand that, dad is gone. I'm stuck. I don't know where he should live. I don't know how to take care of him. I have just help. So that's what you don't want to have happen. None of us wants to think about those types of unpleasant realities, but none of us is immortal. At some point we are going to go, and we have to make the plans to take care of those who are dependent on us at any age, and just to make sure that everything is in place to make sure that there is a plan, a succession plan, so that care for whomever is the dependent continues seamlessly.
Not all families are prepared to even talk about the simpler things in life, like what's for dinner, let alone where all the checking, savings, and retirement accounts are. And who will help us manage all of that?
We just had a family meeting yesterday. Mom was here with her daughter. The daughter does have a developmental disability, has lived with mom her entire life. Mom is now 80. And so the mom's children, the daughter's siblings, were on Zoom. And we started to have the conversation. And I could tell this is something that she's never really approached the other children about. There was a little bit of discomfort. And I think, if I can be frank, the kids are nervous about what does it mean? What does it mean for me if I need to step in for my sibling with a disability? I absolutely want to be there for them, but I have my own life. I am busy. I've got other obligations. I've got other responsibilities. I don't want this to be overwhelming to me. So a lot of my conversation with them was, you don't have to go this alone. There are many supports out there, and you just need to reach out, and people are there. At the same time, you also need to make sure that the person for whom you're planning has a voice. You can't just go in and say, all right, such and so, we're going to do this, and you're going to take care of that, and you're going to take care of this one. You can't do that. I mean, you're planning for another human being. That human being needs to be able to have some input. You don't know what preferences that human being might have. Maybe this person can't stand their sister. And so the last thing you want to do is put the sister in charge. Maybe the person wants to live independently. Maybe the person wants to study art. Maybe, the person has hopes and dreams, and like everybody else. And you need to have a plan in place that makes sure that the ability for them to fulfill those hopes and dreams is maximized. So it's very much of a holistic conversation, and it's not just about the legal documents, because you're planning for somebody's social well-being, their spiritual well-being, their health, the whole panoply of things that go into just what we do on a day-to-day basis. And so for parents, you have to kind of project, and there's going to be a time when we're not there. So who is going to step in? And you want to make sure that those, if you call them caregivers or supportive decision makers or whoever they are people that know the loved one very well and will be there to honor their wishes as best they can. That, consistent with their safety and welfare and all that.
And Elena has some last words of advice for our podcasting class.
What you're doing is you're designating people that are going to be making decisions for you for the rest of your life, or at least until you then change the documents. So you've got to look out for yourself, and you have to make sure that, when you identify these fiduciaries, these trusted people, that they can do the jobs you're asking them to do. So let's say you want somebody you trust to manage your money. Make sure that person is good at managing money. If that person hasn't paid their taxes, if that person has to worry about their lights getting turned off because they're late on the bills, that's not the person you want to manage your money. Same thing with your health care. You want someone who's going to make sure that your desires are fulfilled. So the person who's going to do your healthcare advocacy has to know you very well. So it's got to be somebody that you're comfortable talking to, and somebody that you know that's going to fight against the medical establishment if the doctors are saying, oh, but we should do this. And you're like, no, I don't want that done. So you have to have that advocate who's going to say to the doctors, nope, we're not doing this for the right reason.
Much thanks for Annapolis-based attorney Elena Salitto for sharing her expertise with us. See Me, See My Ability is the podcast of the ARC Southern Maryland. It has a goal of creating new generations of self-advocates and a support system for our clients and those who love and live with them. There are so many school, county, and state-based offices devoted to helping you find the right people and legal advocates to help you for that time when you'll be totally reliant on the care and kindness of others. You have a right to have a say in what your gray-haired days or days without your parents' care will be like. Please leave a review for our podcast, See Me, See My Ability, on our webpage at arcsomd.org or wherever you download and listen to podcasts. I'm Rita Rich.